What's up guys, my name's Tom, welcome back to another video, here for another episode of F1 2020. My team career mode is the 19th one and it's time for the USA Grand Prix. If you haven't watched the previous episode, make sure to go check it out. It was like 2 weeks ago. Last week I didn't put any career mode video, so apologies for that. I'm trying to post 2 episodes per week, but it's really hard for me because at the moment I'm working in season 2 and there's plenty of new stuff that I'm planning to bring for the next season. So it's going to be a blast, trust me, and I'm working in the in the background, I should say, for season 2. So that's the reason that I've been a little bit busy, and now I have university coming to play as well. So give me a little bit of a break, but I'm going to do everything to post 2 episodes per week. 1 per week I think is going to be pretty easy, and I think I can assure you that we're going to have 1 per week. But before jumping onto the track, we have an invitational event. We're going to drive one of the Renault, so we'll see if we're going to pass this invitational event, and that would be good to improve our relationship with Renault, you know, to have some cheeky engine upgrade. That would be good, but that's not going to affect the relationship with Renault because this is a classic car. This doesn't have nothing to do with the team. But if we pass the challenge, we're going to have an extra money and extra acclaim, which is always good. But if you don't familiarize with this invitational Jump Pursuit challenge, we are the fastest car, and the cars ahead of us, which are of the lowest class, are way slower than us. So we have to catch these cars in the space of 3 laps and win the race. Starting with this beautiful 88 McLaren driven by Etienne, and you're going to see that we fly past it through the straight. I always say in these videos that I should drive more the classic cars because they deserve to be showcased on YouTube, and there's not many people playing with them. So I think that's the thing that I should explore more, driving more classic cars in the game. The thing is that I don't have any time. I mean, I have time to make the videos, the content, but I don't have time for these classic car videos. So maybe I should you know, focus a little bit more in the classic car videos, showcase the Schumacher DLC. Let me know in the comment section below if you would like to say that. But anyway, we are on the last lap. The first place is 5 seconds ahead as we passed Williams from the 91 season, if I'm not wrong, and this is the last couple of corners and we're still in second place. So we have to do the best 2 corners, and the Williams is still so far that we're going to be making a massive dive on the inside, and we're going to cross the line in first place. And that was absolutely disgusting, but needs must. We had to win this challenge to get that extra claim on money, and we did so. It was very dirty, so apologies for that if you got you know, offended for that. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyway, we're back into our headquarters. In any time soon we're going to jump onto the garage and just filling the agenda with some activities, receiving some money from the sponsors. We actually had to renew the contract with the sponsors. Basically they are the same. I think they are the best ones so far in this season. I don't know if the objectives are renewed once you end the season. But this is the first race after the performance patch, and you can see that Racing Point over to Ferrari. I think basically what Codemasters did, I think they just changed the performances of these 2 teams, and as well they decreased a little bit from Haas and Alfa Romeo, so that allows us to put very close in these 2 teams. We're just like 1 pixel behind these 2 teams, so we're going to be in the mix. But talking about pace during this weekend, it's been okay, I'm not gonna lie, but it could be better. But points for this race, I don't know. We're going to be needing a miracle if we want to score points, because at this stage of the season I'm already starting to save money and resource points in order to get the best car that we can for season 2. I'm already thinking ahead, but we'll see what we can do. We have just 4 races, counting with this one, until the end of the season, so many things can still happen in our first season for Tom Motorsport. But Q1 we're doing a lap, and it's been always the first lap in Q1 is always full of mistakes, trying to get a grip with things, and we'll see what we can do in this qualifying session. Through the last corner we missed a little bit the apex, opened the DRS, and for the time being it is a 131.7, and it is enough to put us ahead of Latifi and Raikkonen, which I was very impressed, I'm not gonna lie, because that was a terrible lap, full of mistakes. I was still a little bit timid with the braking zone, especially at turn 1, which you have a blind apex, so you can't see the apex, so you have just kind of guessing and have a lot of muscle memory to know where the apex is. But anyway, at the moment we are in P15, which is very surprising. I think I set another lap. No, I didn't actually, so apologies for that. So it was just on lap. Despite being that bad, considering me that was a bad lap, we're still in P15, and there was some time left on the table, especially in the last sector. And at the moment, we're not improving our time, which is a bit worrying because if the session ended like this, we've been through into Q2, which at the moment I'm kind of impressed to see that the pace is decent around Kota, but I don't know, because you know that EA can improve, but as you can see, the sky is getting darker and darker, and the rain is going to come in the second phase of qualifying, but it's not going to come now in this first session of qualifying. Vlad is out as we miss massively the apex in this long braking zone to the right-hander, as we're going flat out through the long right-hander now, and at the moment it's looking good because we can't improve. The track temperature decreased pretty massively as we cut massively the corner, but we're not going to improve on these laps. We are like 6-5 tenths up down on our previous best, so we're going to cross the line. It is enough to put us into second phase of qualifying. Yes, it is P15, so I was worried to not getting into the next stage of qualifying, because you know that AI can miraculously improve that time in the closing stages of qualifying, so that was I was a bit worried, but we can breathe now in relief because we are in P15, and it's been a while since we got out of Q1, so I'm very happy for the time being. But now it's going to be really tricky because we have intermediate conditions for the second phase of qualifying. I don't know how it's going to be for the Q3, but I really do not care because it's going to be really hard to get into the top 10 shootout. Into the first corner, massive tank slapper, and just getting a grip with things. And you can see that Hamilton, I think it is Hamilton or Bottas, I don't know, one of the Mercedes getting closer and closer to us, because at the moment I'm still getting to grips with things, and the IO is already coded to get the best time. So even it is their first time in these wet conditions. Carlos Sainz in P10, now make that P11, and trying to set a time on the softs, but no use, we gone faster than him, and we are already 6 tenths, because the last corner preparing the first lap, it was absolutely dreadful. As we're going through the first corner this time, we did things more cleanly, and then from then onwards we didn't gain that much time comparing with our first lap, but we're gaining 1 second, and we're going to cross the line. At the moment it is P11, so it's looking good for us, but I think some other guys had to set a lap, and it's still intermediate conditions, so the rain is not going to get heavy. I think it's going to get lighter, so actually it's the same, but anyway, we're improving by 3 tenths of a second, and we're down into P16, so no surprise. I think going into Q2 was a huge stretch, I can say, when it comes to the performance of this Tom Motorsport car, but 4 tenths of a second, so we're improving substantially, but I don't think it's going to be enough to put us into the top 10 shootout. We're gaining 7 tenths now, so we're making huge gains in this third lap. I don't know, maybe I'm more confident, maybe that is, or maybe the conditions are getting better and better. I don't think so, because you can see that the rain is still the same, comparing with some minutes ago, but through the final corner this time we hit the apex. Be careful with the curbs, because they are absolute soap when it's wet conditions. Across the line, and it's going to be in once again P15 like in Q1, and that is going to be our starting position for the USA Grand Prix. So a very positive qualifying, and there was nothing much that I could do. It would be, I had to gain like 4 or half a second to get through the top 10 shootout. So I think I extracted everything that I could get from this Tom Motorsport car. So in summary, it was a very positive qualifying. But now let's go to the race and see if we can put a good show. It's time for the USA Grand Prix.
Here we are then in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin, in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself 14 miles southeast of the city centre and home to the US Grand Prix since 2012. The latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, around the 20 corners of the wonderful Circuit of the Americas. We'll be reaching speeds of around 200 miles an hour, and there are plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the 2 DRS zones into turn 1 and the very long back straight into turn 12. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Now, I want to ask you about Lewis Hamilton. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Vettel, Alexander Albon, and Perez, Sainz, Stroll, Ocon, and Pierre Gasly. Leclerc, they've taken a grid penalty. Thomas, Roman Grosjean, and Magnussen. Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Antonio Giovinazzi, and George Russell, Kvyat, Latifi, Norris, and Nick de Vries. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Thanks to some grid penalties, we're going to start in P12. Welcome to the US Grand Prix, guys, and we're going to have some rain in the closing stages of the race. This is really interesting. We're going to start with light rain, intermediate conditions, and then we might switch to the wet tires because it's going to be heavy rain. But I have a very risky strategy here. I'm going to try to save one stop, and we're going to start on the dries, we're going to start on the mediums. I'm not going to choose the hards because everyone around me is going to be on the softs probably. And I'm going to stretch as much as I can these medium tires in order to save one stop and change straight up to the intermediates. It's very risky, but I did something similar at Spain in this season, and it really paid off. But we'll see what we can do. We have to be really careful with our tires in this first stint. 5 red lights for the USA Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and away we go. It's been a great start against the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. But then the second phase for us wasn't that good, and Leclerc got a bit of a stretch. As we go into turn 1, we're going to dive on some cars, and we'll see if we can gain some positions on the inside of Pierre Gasly. Oh, that was so close. We didn't gain any position because I lost a lot of momentum on that inside cab, so much that we are side by side with both Hasses, but we managed to stay ahead of these guys. So it's been an okay start for the time being. We didn't gain any positions, but like I was saying in the pre-race, we have to be really careful with these tires if we want to stretch them until the intermediate points. So if we're going to have some rain, so this is a risk that we are having because the rain is not that accurate in this game. The rain could never come in this race, and we're going to basically kill our race. But it's a risk that I'm going to take. We are outside of the points. We are in the closing stages of the season. We are in the position thanks to the grid penalty, so we don't have nothing to lose as we're getting some slipstream on Charles Leclerc. We might overtake the Ferrari. You know the Ferrari that now is a bit slow on the straight line thanks to the performance patch, and we're going to try to go round the outside of Charles Leclerc. Great traction from the Ferrari thanks to that soft comparative tire, and now we're going to have the inside line try to giving a little bit of a squeeze, and we gain the position, and we are into P11. We lost the back end. Can we save that? And we're destroying a little bit our tires, but we managed to save our car, and that was a huge drift. But most importantly, we gained the position on the Ferrari, lost a little bit of time to the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly. There is the replay. That was a beautiful save. You're not gonna lie, but we mustn't make this in order to save as much tire wear as we can. But now this is for second place at the moment. Bottas leads the way, and he's leading the championship as well. So at the moment, Bottas is in great shape in this closing stage of the season, and Vettel defended pretty briefly second place from Hamilton. But now, thanks to the help of the DRS, I think DRS now is enabled. He's going to sail past the Ferrari. No chance against that Mercedes power, and it is a Mercedes 1-2 at Kota, and Vettel has settled down for the final step of the podium, and maybe sooner or later is going to be under threat of the both Red Bull cars, because the Ferrari now is a slower car, much slower than the Force India. Then the Racing Point. We're still in 2020 and I still say Force India. My goodness me. Anyway, first warning when it comes to track limits, so we have to have a look on that, especially in the first sector where you always feel very tempted, you know, to cut those S's because you can gain so much time by cutting them. So we have to be really careful with that. But at the moment, setting personal best, I'm trying to catch Pierre Gasly, try to get the DRS, but it's not enough. The TR maybe is kicking a little bit still despite being over 1 second behind, and Charles Leclerc has DRS and he might have a chance. Look at the Ferrari is gaining, and he's going to dive down the inside. We almost break at the same time, but then he outbreaks a little bit thanks to the overspeed, and we're still side by side, and now we're going to have the inside line. This is a copycat move, a carbon copy of the first lap, and we're still side by side. Try to not slide the car this time. Leclerc is going to have the inside line, going to try to make the switchback move, but the Ferrari gets a brilliant traction thanks to that softer comparative tires, and Leclerc now is going to pull away. Look at the 30 air that we get from the long right hand. Is absolutely outrageous, and Leclerc now is pulled away. What do you expect? This is a top motorsport car, and that is a Ferrari. There's nothing that I can do, and remember that I shouldn't be forcing these tires in order to not destroying them, because once the rain starts, if it starts, we're going to be in some trouble, because the tire wear is going to be absolutely extreme. But talking about weather, let's ask Jeff what's going to happen in these next few laps.
Expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So this is really good news for us, because 10 to 50 minutes, that would be really easy for us. For the guys on the softs, if they want to stretch till the intermediate point, is going to be really hard. Tire wear is pretty high. I think it's mid-high, I could say, thanks to these high-speed corners. But definitely there are more tracks that punish more the tires. But now these are the front runners, and they can stretch these soft tires, unsurprisingly. And Sebastian Vettel is going to set another set of soft tires as well for the Red Bull. So the AI taking a kind of extreme strategy. I think it was the standard strategy. I think it was the planned one for me, so apologies for that. It's not. It was the planned one by the game. So it's a soft medium strategy, if I'm not wrong. So these guys are going to be mega fast. We're going to be ahead of them, but remember that we're doing everything to save one stop. So it seems that everyone is going to be in the same boat, and me is going to be, you know, the guy that is going to risk everything, because we're outside of the points. Like I said, we have nothing to lose. Maybe we have a lucky safety car if the rain doesn't come. We might take advantage of that, and our teammate Nick de Vries is in the same boat as well. So I wish I could mix with my teammate's strategy, as Carlos Sainz is going to fit the hard tires. A very interesting strategy call from Carlos Sainz. He's going to fit the white stripe tire, but like I was saying, I wish I could decide my teammate's strategy, because he's in a strategy where he's not going to get any points. As one of the guys are out of the race, I believe it is Daniel Ricciardo. Sebastian Vettel with the freshest softer comparative tire is going to overtake us. A massive lockup, as you can see, and up ahead, 40 seconds ahead is Charles Leclerc, but he has to pit, so they're really struggling in this race. So it's been an absolutely nightmare. Sooner or later, if he doesn't pit, he's going to be overtaken by his teammate. So he's going to be one pit stop ahead, we can say, of his teammate, as I decided to let Alexander Albon going by, because we are in a different race. Now we are in a very important phase of the race. We need to put consistent laps and fast laps, and at the same time we need to save these tires. So it's going to be really challenging. And behind us it is Sergio Perez. It's going to be maybe Lance Stroll, because now he's pitting, and Sergio Perez is 7 seconds behind us. So we have this gap to play, and the sky is starting to get darker and darker. So it's time to ask once again the weather for Jeff, as our pit window opens. So let's see the weather report.
Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
And the more efficient engineer at the moment should be someone else apart from Jeff. I don't know, I wish I could fire this guy. Dries are the best tyre at the moment. Don't tell me, Jeff. And okay, it's raining. It's raining on lap 14, so that was a bit anticlimactic. You should say that it was going to start rain in like 1 to 2 minutes. So now it's going to be really hard, because you think that the disadvantage that we have because of the tires was bad on dry conditions. In damp conditions is even worse. And now the AI in this game, you know, that is always very OP in these damp conditions. So it's going to be really hard, as Sergio Perez tries to go on the inside through that long right-hander, which is being really hard for me. I'm starting to lock a little bit the rears on that corner, and I'm going so slow because I'm afraid to lose the back end as we're going now. And Sergio Perez tries to go on the inside, but we managed to defend that. So I think he kind of backed off. So that was a little bit weird. But now the rain is starting to get heavy and heavy, and the steer through everywhere. And you can see we were 5 seconds slower on that lap, and that tire wear is like in 60 odd % as Perez overtake us with you know, without any difficulty. So now I'm struggling a lot, and I'm not kidding. I have understeer, oversteer. This car at the moment is almost undrivable, but we are watching the replay. Perez tried to go on the inside, but then he kind of backed off. I left plenty of room, and that was a bit interesting, and that's not really an overtaking spot, as the DRS now gets disabled. So definitely now is time to fit the intermediates, and look at the gap that Perez now has in the space of 1 lap. It is 3 seconds ahead, and now we are under threat of the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly. This is going to be really hard. I really want to enter in the pit lane ahead of the AlphaTauri, as we have a massive slide through the long right hander. Can I manage to save that? Yes, we can. And I don't know if Gasly touched that car, I don't know, but now we'll see if we can defend that. We made contact once again, and I'm been doing everything to keep this car on the road. We have a 3-second time penalty because I don't have any grip, and we made contact with Gasly, as now I locked up a little bit, almost hitting the wall, and I almost crashing into pit entry. So drama in these damp conditions, in this crossover point of the US Grand Prix. We made contact with Pierre Gasly, and it's been not the first time we made contact, remember, in the Belgian Grand Prix at the end of the Camel Straight. I think it was in the chicane, and the Gasly turned a little bit into me, but I think I need to see the replay who was the fault. But in these conditions the contacts sometimes are inevitable. But there he is. We're going to feed the intermediate, and we're going till the end of the race in this compound. But remember that we're going to have some heavy rain probably on the closing stages, so maybe we're going to be forced to fit the wet tires for this extreme rain in case it comes. So we are in the points, and we one of the guys ahead is Kevin Magnussen, still stuck on the soft tire, so he decided to stay one more lap in order to get that double stack. But to be honest, I'd rather have a double stack than be stuck one more lap in these torturous conditions. And you can see on the top right hand corner, I decided to put a POV of Pierre Gasly in real time, just to see how slow Magnussen is going at the moment. It's allowing us to catch these guys at speed of light. And now Gasly rolls right inside of Magnussen. Magnussen actually resists a little bit. He made a bit of contact, but there's absolutely no chance, and we managed to clear Magnussen pretty easily, and that allows us actually to get closer to Pierre Gasly. So we're watching the replay, so I managed to save the car here, so kudos. I should receive an extra points for style, and here we'll see what happened. Maybe I turned a little bit onto where Raikkonen, where Gasly was going, apologies. And Gasly wasn't expecting that. He's tried to stop the car, but in these conditions it's really hard to stop the car, especially when you are in a tire that is not the best one to be in. And yeah, I kind of moved a little bit onto the left, but I wasn't braking, so I wasn't braking during the braking zone. So I don't know if it was my fault. Maybe I was too aggressive. But anyway, we press onwards, and Gasly is showing to be a little bit slow, as you can see. And I don't know if he has damage, but I think he had damage. He would change his front wing. So let's assume that he's struggling in these very tricky intermediate conditions at the moment, and we might have a chance to snatch P7. I think Sergio Perez is too far up the road to catch, and remember that now we have a 3 seconds to add to our final time. So we need to be careful with that as we make a massive dive on down the inside out of the final DRS zone, which now there is no DRS because we have intermediate condition. That was a beautiful move on Gasly. Look at that, so confident on the brakes, no contact, and just to see how the difference of pace. And now on lap 22, the rain is starting to get heavier and heavier. We already have a 3-second window gap to Magnussen, to Gasly, I should say. I'm failing on the names today, so I'm a bit rusty with my commentary. But anyway, we received the request from Jeff to pit on lap 22, but I decided to stay one more lap because I think it's not perfect at the moment, as Sergio Perez pitted, and you're not going to believe that he pitted once again for a set of intermediates. So now, and he's going to pit once again, so now he's doing another stop and he's going to fit the wet tires. I don't know why Racing Point decided to stop him once again for the intermediates. That doesn't make any sense. So definitely the AI is not very smart in this game when it comes to strategy, especially in these rainy conditions. But you're going to see we're going to fit the wet tires, and I don't know if it is the first time that we're fitting the wet tires in this career mode. I don't know. Make sure to let me know in the comments, but I think it is. But anyway, now here's the situation. We are in P6 at the moment. We have 4 laps to go, and I don't know if we're going to finish ahead of Perez, because at the moment is is within that 3-second window. And I forgot to say that everyone did the same thing as the Racing Point. So now we are 5 seconds behind Hamilton, so that is not going to happen. And the Carlos Sainz is 20 seconds off the road, so maybe probably is going to be P7 as Lando Norris is out of the race. And we have a safety car! Oh no, are you kidding me? We have a safety car, so our advantage against Carlos Sainz and the guys behind is going to be absolutely vanished away. But it is just 3 laps to go in this race, 4 laps to go. So I don't know how much it's going to take to this safety car to come in, but there is the reason of the safety car is because Lando Norris is retiring from the race. I think he was on the points, and that was really unfortunate. This can help us, especially in our championship tally, because at the moment I think it is best of the rest, and that is going to allow us to get closer to him. So this is good news for us, but you can see that this safety car was out for just 1 single lap. That is the most pointless safety car that I've ever seen in my F1 career, and we've been brake checked by Hamilton, so that's not ideal. But anyway, this Grand Prix is underway, and Sainz is going to be out of that 3-second window. So now we have Perez. We're going to try to stretch that gap, but it's going to be really hard, especially when we have 2 laps to go as we go into turn 1. At the moment, who's leading is Sebastian Vettel, and we skip onto the last lap, and he's going to be P7 thanks to that penalty. That was very unfortunate. So we've been abusing a little bit track limits. But Sebastian Vettel, in a much inferior Ferrari, is going to win the USA Grand Prix for us. He's going to be a well-earned point thanks to that risky strategy, which absolutely paid off. And I'm really happy with this result. So once again, his points on the back. Get in there.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
A truly magnificent drive and a great performance from the entire team to secure the win here in Austin. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Would you have a look at that? A Ferrari after the performance patch winning a race. Who would have thought? Only on just career mode things. But anyway, Vettel wins the championship, and I think he's going to be pretty close for the championship lead. But I don't know if he's going to manage to keep up with the Mercedes. If it is, we're going to have a three-way fight for the championship. Hopefully this fight goes till the last round at Yas Marina. But there is confirmation results. Vettel with the race win. And look at the stops by everyone. Everyone made full stops, with the exception of me that made 2. So we've been the smartest one on the track, and there's a reward, 4 precious points for our championship tally. Nick de Vries actually managed to gain some positions, finishing P17, but at the moment no points for him. And Bottas actually was in 2nd place at the start of this race, but now it is 4 points ahead of Hamilton and 9 ahead of Vettel. So things are really close in the championship. Now we are in P10, just 6 points of being best of the race, which at the moment I think is led by Lando Norris. I didn't have time to watch the full championship table, but there is then the Constructors Championship. We are still in 61 with 61 points. I really would like to be ahead of Alfa Romeo at the end of the season, but it is going to be really hard because at the moment I'm the only one carrying the flag in this team. So we'll see what we can do. You never know, maybe we can have another strategic masterstroke in these final 3 races. That has been episode 19 of my F1 My Team Career Mode, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to smash like and scratch if you need to see plenty more Formula 1 content. It really motivates me to make more. I'm going to try to bring more career mode. I know that you guys like this series, so I'm going to do everything in order to, you know, keep the constant uploading of this series. But that has been all for today, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. But for now, it's goodbye.